Hello and welcome to Lesson 10 of Foundations for Algebra, Unit 2B. Today's objective is that scholars will make and interpret two-way tables that display bivariate data. So another way that we can look at bivariate data is on two-way tables. A two-way table is a table that compares two pieces of data. So you'll see lots of examples of this as we go through. Table that compares two pieces of data. When we talk about frequency, frequency is how often something happens. So these are often called two-way frequency tables. How often something happens. And then relative frequency is how often it happens. How often something happens in regards to another thing. So how often something happens compared to something else. I'll get into that in a little bit more detail here. Something else. And a marginal frequency is a total found in the margin of a two-way table. Okay, let me slide this up. So here's our first example. You survey friends about the types of party they most enjoy. Now this is a two-way table. The things that are being compared are gender, so male or female, and what party type they would like. Okay, so you'll notice this is not numeric data. These are not numbers. We're comparing things like, are they male or female, or do they want to have a bowling, skating, or dancing party? So that's why we're using a two-way table instead of a scatter plot, okay? So you see a box for each one. So these are the options, male, female, then bowling, skating, or dancing. Marginal frequencies are these ones in the margins. So these totals. So I have the total number of males, asked was 10. Total number of females was 16. Total number of people was 26. The total who wanted bowling were 8. Total who wanted skating were 14. Total who wanted dancing are 4. And you'll also notice that these add up. Number of males who wanted bowling was 6. Skating 3, dancing 1, we have a total of 10 males. So everything adds up this direction, same thing with females, same thing with our total, and this way. The number of males plus the number of females adds up to the total of people who want it. So the first question, I want you to pause the video and answer this, is what type of party would you plan for them? Write a valid conclusion from the graph. So something I might say is, I'd plan a dancing party because I don't want too many people to come. Okay, so you're going to come up with a valid reason, and then you're going to write whatever it is. So, let's come down here and look at this next one. So, 8th grade students were asked whether they participated in an after-school activity. Complete the two-way frequency table. So, you notice I'm comparing whether or not they competed in an after-school activity and whether they're male or female. But I'm being asked to complete this. So, the only way I can complete this table is by looking at making sure these add up. So I know this number plus the 95 has to equal 187. So I can just bring out my calculator. I know that I'm just going to have to do 187 minus 95 to get my total, which would be 92 for there. I can do the same thing here. I have 102 and I need it to be 187. So that means this must be 85. Again, I have 40. I need it to be 85. So that 40 plus 45 would give me 85. Same thing for the females who said yes. I know total who said yes was 95. Our total females was 95. 45 of them said no, so that means that 50 must have said yes. And again here, I can say, okay, well, number of males who said yes, I need to get to 102. I have 50, so this must be 52. Remember, you can use a calculator for this to help you with your calculations. So let's go to the next page. So, Sagamore students were polled about whether or not they owned an iPod. The results of the relative percentage are shown in the percentage form. Okay, so in this case, we're still going to be adding these up, but in this case, we have percentages instead of regular numbers. So again, all I'm going to do is add or subtract. So 75, I need to get to 100. The other part must be 25%. Here I have 55. I need to get 100. The other part must be 45. Here I have 42, and I need to get to 75. So that must be 33. 33, and I need to get to 45. Means this must be 12%. 12, I need 25, so this must be 13%. So all you're doing is using addition and subtraction to figure out these numbers. So the question that asks, did more students have iPods or not have iPods? So I see 55% had iPods, 45% did not. So more students have iPods. If there were 88 students, how many were 8th graders? Well, looking here, I can see my 8th graders were 25%. So 25% of 88, I could just do 88 times 0.25, 25%. It's also 1/4, so I know that would be 22 students were 8th graders. Okay. Now let's talk about making a relative frequency table for the same data. So our relative frequency table of this is just people who own an iPod. Okay? You notice instead of having 100%, I have a 1.0. So they're writing our percentages as decimals. So again, I'm just going to add things up to figure them out. So 0.70, I need a 0.30, and I'm going to do 2 decimal places. Over here, I'm going to add these up. 0.51 plus 0.27 simply gives me 0.78. And the other part of that's going to be 0.22. So all I'm doing is filling these in as I go. 0.19, 0.03. And again, all I'm doing is adding and subtracting so I can make sure that everything adds up. Everything adds up. 0.51 plus 0.19 gives me 0.70. 0.27 plus 0.03 gives me 0.30. 0.78 plus 0.22 gives me 1. That's all I'm doing. So now let's look at this next one. Creating a relative frequency table based on the total people. So below we have a table of people in the park and the activities they do. Complete the relative frequency table based on the total participants. First, we're going to complete the table. So, again, I'm just going to be using addition to figure this out. So, obviously, 9 plus 11 gives me 20. 4 and 1 gives me 5. 20 plus 5 plus 25 is 50. My picnickers, I had 10 males. That means I must have had 15 females. And then I can just add straight across 9 plus 4 plus 10. Simply gives me 23. 11 plus 1 plus 15 gives me 27. That's not too hard. Now when we go to the next page, we're talking about doing a relative frequency table. So we're going to create a relative frequency table for all 50 people. Divide each of the numbers by 50. Well, the first thing I know is if I divide by 50, 50 divided by 50 is definitely going to give me 1. Okay, then I'm just going to be dividing by other numbers. So I know here I have 9 divided by 50, which will give me, which equals 0.18. And then I have 11 divided by 50, which gives me 0.22. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to take these numbers and just divide it by 50. 20 divided by 50, which will give me 0.40. Again, and I'm just going to be doing this. 4 divided by 50. Everything's just be division. 1 divided by 50. So here I get 0.08. Here I get 0.02. And this one's going to be 0.10. 0.50. 0.20. 0.30. Again, I'm just putting these numbers in to get out my answers. 0.46. Again, I'm just taking the numbers divided by 50, and then here I get 0.54. Okay? So, now let's come down to look at this last one. Now, this one's asking us to sort of do a little bit of thinking. So, you go to a dance and help clean up afterwards. To help, you collect the soda cans, Coca-Cola and Sprite, and organize them. So we have Coca-Cola or Sprite. Some cans were on the table and some were in the garbage. Table or garbage. 72 total cans are found. Oh, there we go. That's an important piece of information. So, 72 total cans were found. I'm just going to put that right here. 72 total cans are found. 42 cans were found in the garbage. So, garbage total was 42. And 50 total cans were Coca-Cola. Okay, not a problem. I had 50 total Coca-Cola cans. Finally, $14 Sprite cans were found on the table. So Sprite cans on the table was 14. Now I can fill in the rest of this. So 50 plus what gives me 72? That would be 22. 42, 72, so that gives me a 30 here. That's 30, then this is 16. 14 plus 8 would give me 22. 16 plus 34. And that gives all my numbers. Finally, you are asked to make a relative frequency table. So all we're going to do is we divide based on the total number of cans. So you're going to use your calculator. And everything is just going to be divided by 72. So this will be 72 divided by 72, which would give me 1. And you're going to do the same thing and fill in each of these parts of the table. Okay, work on this on your own, and I will see you in class.